Today, I want to show you a great new tool available on the Edinburgh University Center for Career Development and Experiential Learning Virtual Career Center, also known as TartanEdge. This tool will give you real-time data on a variety of occupations and industries using national data on salary, job growth, core skills, as well as a lot of other helpful information to help you make empowered decisions about what major to choose, what occupation to pursue, and where you should look to find areas with the most job growth in your desired field. You can find TartanEdge very easily on the web by going to tartanedge.edinburgh.edu, or for current students, faculty, and staff, simply click the TartanEdge icon in your portal. Once you're on the main website, you can identify this new tool by clicking here in the main menu under Job Market Insights. So if you click on that link, you'll immediately be taken to a dashboard where you can find career data by selecting keywords or by filtering by industry and occupation. I'm going to show you how to do both. So if you'd like to type in a keyword to select a relevant occupation, you can do so here. This is a great way to get started if you're really not sure what you may be interested in, but you just want to explore different areas and fields. In this case, we're going to start really broad, and we're just going to type in the keyword business. What we see is that immediately we're given a drop-down option with a lot of different possible job titles that incorporate the word or the industry of business. If you'd like to be a little bit more specific, you could go a little bit further, typing in additional keywords, in this case, business sales, or perhaps business management. Once you've typed in the keywords that bring up an occupation that catches your interest or that you'd like to explore, you can select that occupation. In this case, we're going to go ahead and select Management Analyst. You can also see here on the right that we're starting with nationwide information. And what this means is that the information that I'm about to show you is coming from data all across the US. We'll be able to drill down by state a little bit later. So we'll start off by looking at what do management analysts do? For a lot of students, they may be interested in different occupations or different careers, but they're not always sure what people actually do in those careers. So we can see here that a management analyst conducts organizational studies and evaluations, designs symptoms and procedures, and so on. We're also seeing a bullet list of core tasks that management analysts may do. Now, it's important to understand that your job description may look very different depending on where you work or what industry you may work in as a management analyst, but these are pretty good core tasks that are broad and probably applicable to a wide variety of industries in which you may work as a management analyst. The next section we see is employment trends. So the number of jobs in this career are displayed for the past 2 years, the current year, and projections for the next 10 years. And again, this is nationwide. So this is across all 50 US states. So over the next 10 years, we're seeing that in this case, employment demand is expected to increase by 11.5%. And that's really good job growth for an occupation. And here you see a visual representation of that job growth. So if this was an occupation that you may be interested in, that would be noteworthy to think that you could have a potentially long career with plenty of growth opportunities. Next, we'll see companies that are currently hiring for management analysts. These are the top employers. And what this tells us is that these employers have the most job postings nationwide each year for this occupation. So in this case, we're seeing companies like Oracle, Deloitte, Wells Fargo, Amazon, and so on. Next, we'll see the education levels. And this is the educational attainment percentage breakdown for a career, or put simply, the percentage of people in this career who hold bachelor's degrees, graduate degrees, and so on. So we can see that 50% of people in this occupation have a bachelor's degree, and the other 50% have a master's or a professional degree. This can be helpful if you're thinking about your own educational plans over the next several years. Next, we'll see salary information or annual earnings. This includes not just base rates of salary, but things like cost of living allowance, incentive pay, which may include bonuses, and so on. So what you see in this graph are salary levels here on the left, and then on the bottom you see percentiles. And down here, it's broken down for you in even more detail. So we see that 90% or 9 of 10 people in this career report earnings higher than approximately $43,000 a year nationwide. We see that the top 10% of people in this career report earnings higher than $205,000. Again, it's important to remember that when we're looking at nationwide data, this is heavily skewed by where you live, the cost of living in your area, the job growth, and the competition for talent in your area. So you should really look at annual earnings data from a very broad point of view. Once we dig a little bit deeper into state level data, we'll be able to get a better idea of what we can expect in our own region. Next, you'll see two sets of skills. The first set is called technical skills. This is a list of hard skills associated with a given career in order by the number of times they're represented in job postings. So in this case, you can see data analysis, business process, SQL are some of the top skills that are most commonly seen in job descriptions for this occupation. Now, this can be very helpful information for resume writing, cover letter writing, or even thinking about what kinds of skills you want to sharpen through your internships, through your coursework and your projects, and so on, if this is an occupation that you desire. The next set of skills is called soft skills. And these are things that are a little bit harder to quantify. They're things like critical thinking, writing, systems analysis. These are very helpful when you're thinking about preparing for a job interview. So in an interview, you've already demonstrated that you have many of these technical skills. Now you want to demonstrate that you have many of these soft skills. You can demonstrate that by talking about your past experiences, your projects, and so on. The next section we see is a list of job titles. So it's very important when you're doing research about the job market, it's important to understand that not every job is going to have the same job title. So in this case, we can see a wide variety of job titles. As I mentioned earlier, your job description could look a little different depending on what kind of actual industry you do that job in. So what this is telling you is that you may see very similar sorts of job responsibilities and core tasks, just with different job titles. So if this is something that you find very useful, maybe you want to have it on hand to compare with a lot of other careers, you can actually save this information by simply clicking the print icon. You can either print this out or you could save as a PDF, and that'll give you the opportunity to maybe look at a few different careers and kind of evaluate them side by side. So this is an example or a demonstration of how to use the labor market insights or the job market insight tool by keyword. Now you can also look by industry and occupation. So if we click on this option, we'll see that we can actually look by industry. So if you are really not sure and you just want to look at a lot of different careers and a lot of different industries to see what's available, but you know kind of what area you might like to go, this is a really useful tool. So why don't we select health science as our industry? What you'll see is that then when you select an occupation, you're only going to see occupations specific to the industry of health science. So in this case, we could select audiologist. Now, in our earlier demonstration, we looked nationwide, but let's go ahead and drill down to the state level so that we can actually see a little bit more information about where we may want to make our career. Since we are part of the Pennsylvania state system, let's select Pennsylvania. So the core tasks, again, are not going to change whether you look nationwide or by state. These are always going to stay consistent. What will change are the employment trends, top employers, and salary information. So you can see here again, we have an occupational area with strong growth of 10% in Pennsylvania. If you're curious about how that compares to nationwide, you can simply select nationwide, let that update, and you can see that it's pretty close to the nationwide growth. So if we go back and select Pennsylvania to continue exploring, we can just simply go back up and select that. Then we'll see the top employers currently hiring for audiologists. And again, those education levels. And we see in this case about 20% have a master's or professional degree, but 80% have a doctoral degree or more. So if this was something you were interested in, you would really want to be thinking about, how do I plan ahead to attain that higher level degree? And of course, that's reflected in those earnings. So in this case, you can see 90% of people report earnings higher than 54,000, and the top 10% are at approximately 118,000. And that's in the state of Pennsylvania. You could always look at other states to see how that compares. Next, we see the technical skills and those soft skills we mentioned before, and again, those job titles. So you can see that you can really look as specific or as broad as you'd like. And again, if you want to compare multiple occupations, it's as simple as playing around with the occupational dropdown, or just simply printing those options, saving as a PDF. Maybe you want to sit down with your family or with a spouse and review some of these options together. That can be a really helpful way to do that. So we've spent some time now looking at our options using the Job Market Insight page directly from the top menu on TartanEdge. But I also want to show you that we've embedded this tool into our career community pages. So career communities are really valuable. These are pages where we curate information specific to areas of interest in industries. So you can see here, we have currently 8 career communities ranging from business, finance and accounting, to social and human services, STEM, education, art and design, and so on. So this is a great idea to look at the career community. If you pretty much know what area you're interested in, or based on your major, you may want to look at a specific community. Let's say you're a political science or a criminal justice major. Perhaps you want to look at the government and public service community. So when we visit the community, we can see that there's plenty of resources, everything from state and federal employment resources to law school rankings, featured jobs and internships that are currently available and posted for our students and alumni in this career community, as well as upcoming events. And then we see our Job Market Insight tool again. So what's different about the Job Market Insight tool and the career community pages is that the industries are already selected for you. So this can be really useful if you know you want to work, for instance, in government and public service. Just go straight to the career community page. Then you don't have to sort through all those different occupations. Let's go ahead and select government and public administration. And then of course we see the different career options that come up under that specific industry. So if we select, let's say, city and regional planning aides as an example, we can again see those core tasks, those employment trends, top employers, education level, annual earnings, technical skills, soft skills, and job titles. And one thing I do want to point out, when you look at education levels, and you see, sometimes you'll see that there are a lot of people working in occupation that maybe don't have a college degree. And you may be thinking, well, why am I pursuing a bachelor's degree if 50% of people in this occupation don't have one? Or in this case, we see 10%. The reason that you might want to think about this a little more broadly is that there are oftentimes people working in these occupations that may have started in these fields 20 or 30 years ago, when having a degree wasn't necessarily required in those fields, but since the field has evolved so much, now they are. The other thing to think about is how those annual earnings may change. So perhaps people without a college degree are working successfully in these occupations, but in terms of where they fall in their earning potential, it may skew a little lower. So just something I'd like to add as you're kind of exploring these different occupations. So that is an overview of the new job market insight tool. I hope you found this useful. Remember that TartanEdge offers so many great resources for all of our students, alumni, faculty, and staff, as well as those who may just be exploring Edinboro University as a possible destination. You can find information on the companies that we work with, great resources, news and articles, as well as how to find support in different areas, who we serve. We have a great video library full of tutorials and how-tos, featured jobs and internships, and lots of information for employers who want to partner with us. If you have any questions, always reach out to us. Our contact information is shown right here in this yellow banner at the top of the page. You can also send us a message by clicking on this little icon in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. And we actually staff this area here with a live chat on Mondays and Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. in the spring 2021 semester. Thank you for watching and have a great day.